everyone, welcome to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce, and today I have a special guest with us. He is an author, and he has his debut novella coming out right now. It's up for pre-order for ebook, and on August 1st, the physical copy will be out, and it is called Out of Whack. I have with us K.N. Gould. K.N., welcome to the Horror Room.
Thanks for having me, Mr. Bruce.
It's a pleasure having you on. So tell us a little bit about Out of Whack.
Well, Out of Whack, without giving away any spoilers, it's a horror story, weird dark fiction about a young couple on the run through middle America, Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Bonnie and Clyde type style, maybe a reluctant Bonnie along with the Clyde, but not everything is as it seems. Austin, the Clyde, has a secret that Violet, the Bonnie, doesn't know about. He isn't necessarily hiding it, but choosing a good point to reveal it. And that's about as far as I can go without spoiling things.
So that sounds like a great story. Now, this is your debut novella. Mm-hmm. Listen, we're coming up on the days of it being released. How fucking exciting is this for you?
Oh, very exciting, very exciting. I've been published a few times, short stories in various anthologies, but having a book of my own, my name on the front and everything, that's very exciting. Writing it when I was writing it, not knowing if it'd ever see the light of day, and now we're a couple weeks out from seeing the light of day.
Awesome, man. Now, was it tough to go from a short story format to a novella?
I always thought it'd be tougher than it actually was. I'm not exactly prolific. I can't sit down and write 5,000 words in a sitting, but just doing a little bit at a time, chipping away, Shawshank style. And this story in particular came to me fairly easily, and I could see where it was going, and got there.
Now, as a writer, when you were writing a story, did you already have an ending in mind, or did you have to work towards it?
In this particular story, I guess the answer is sometimes yes, sometimes no. Sometimes the endings change halfway through. I knew more or less how this was going to end when I started writing it, yes.
Now, when it comes to writing a novella and you're getting it out there on ebook and also physical copy, it's easy right now for authors to get their books out right now. But what are some challenges that you ran into that other authors who are thinking about putting out their debut work may not know about?
I think the first thing, if you've never done this before, be ready for rejection. Rejections come fast and furious. Don't, as hard as it is, don't take it to heart. It's not right for this publisher. Maybe it's right for this other publisher. Unveiling Nightmares, Crystal Bainham, got my Out of Whack novella, liked it right away, and they're the ones putting it out. Sometimes it's just a matter of the right person getting it.
And I love Crystal over at Unveiling Nightmare. I mean, that's a good team over there. She does an excellent job.
Yeah.
Now, when Crystal first, when you reached out to her and she was like, "Okay, now listen, I like this. I want to, go ahead and publish this." Were you hesitant at all, or did she make this? Did she make this easy as possible for you?
No, she's made it very easy. She's been receptive to any questions because I'm a newbie here. I've done short stories where I type it up, I send it out, I get the rejection or I get the acceptance, and then I'm pretty much done. Maybe some edits I need to approve, some rewrites. But she's been any of my questions, very receptive, on the ball. From hooking me up with a cover artist. Very pleased with the cover. Christy Aldridge with Grim Poppy Design did the cover.
Nice.
Crystal's been great.
Yeah, because I mean, I hear the horror stories, especially when it comes from new authors, and selecting the right small press or the right publishing house to go with. And I've heard the horror stories, and like, I mean, Unveiling Nightmares is definitely one of those small presses that I've always said, Crystal and they are a great job. I've heard nothing but good things over there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'd call this a horror story, but like the very first time I ever got published short story, this was back in 2015. I still haven't been paid for that, and I never got my author copies from that anthology. So, like, no, it's hard to tell good ones from bad ones. So sometimes it's just luck of the draw. But so far with Unveiling Nightmares, I have no complaints.
Now, who was the first? So when you completed Out of Whack, who was the first person that you had look over it, read it, and give you their opinion?
Oh, my wife. I've been married 24 years. She's my first reader. Capital F, capital R. She goes through looking for grammar mistakes, looking for spelling mistakes, which happen. But also, if I told the story the way I wanted to tell it. Sometimes I feel like I can't see the forest through the trees. And like, did you understand what I was trying to do here? And if something wasn't clear, she can tell me. And sometimes, especially with Out of Whack, there's some things that aren't supposed to be clear right away. If you read it, 2-3 chapters in, if you're going like, what's going on? That's on purpose. So she's a good one to bounce off of. She doesn't know anything about the story. She reads the story. She says, what's going on here? Don't worry. It'll be explained. So yeah, my wife, first reader.
And that's amazing to have. Now I have a question, because I know as a creator, whether it be author, filmmaker, YouTube, it's kind of hard when it comes to your baby to receive constructive criticism. Mm-hmm. Are you pretty open to it?
I like to think so. Yeah, I mean, especially if somebody's telling me, my wife reads it first. I had a couple beta readers. If they're telling me something's not working or something doesn't make sense, I'm going to listen. That's what they're there for. It is hard. Because I like to think, except I'm hard on myself, so I know what I'm creating isn't perfect. Yeah. So in that way, unless somebody goes like, yeah, this doesn't work for me. This sucks. Anything other than that, I think I can take pretty good.
So, I mean, it's even hard for me when it comes to even a YouTube creator. Like, anytime I produce like newer content, or I have an idea, let me try something wacky, I have beta watchers who watch it, and a lot of times there's been certain ideas that never show up on this channel because I have numerous beta watchers say, I don't think this is good, or you might get some flack for this. And it's hard to listen to, because you have these great ideas, and but you have to listen to the people who you trust that, hey, this might not sound right, or this may not be appealing to your target audience.
Yeah, I think that's why, as much as I value my wife's input, having other people who might not care as much about my feelings as my wife does, telling me that doesn't work, or that sounds weird, or find a better way to do that. But one of my favorite things is when I write something and hand it to my first reader, and she reads it, and she kind of gets a weird, how do you think of these things? She asked me, like, almost not disgusted because she knows I'm weird, but fascinated, maybe. But yeah, it's important to get a lot of perspectives, because I'm not sure if the wife would hurt my feelings, whereas maybe these other people would, if necessary.
Now, right now we're kind of in like a PC culture where everybody gets offended, unfortunately. Now, as a writer, when it comes to your work, do you consider like, oh my goodness, this might offend people, or this might gross someone out, or or are you like, no, I'm going to put this out. This is how my story goes. I'm going to tell my story how it's in my brain.
I don't. It's a good question because I don't know if I've ever really thought about it like that. I write what I like to read. Stephen King, esque stuff. I'm not a splatterpunk kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
No disrespect to anybody who is, but it's just not my thing. It does cross my mind from time to time if I'm depicting, a certain group, a certain profession, a certain way that maybe somebody could take it the wrong way. But at the end of the day, it's fiction.
Mm-hmm.
And I write what I like to read. So I don't think I go too far, but that's not necessarily a conscious, like I'm trying not to go too far. If that makes sense?
Yeah. I totally understand. Now, who are some, you just brought up Stephen King. Who are some other writers that you've gotten inspiration from over the years?
Oh, like I said, Stephen King first and foremost. I think when I read On Writing years ago, that's what kind of made me think maybe I could do this. May not make a living at it or anything, but I could do this. But Robert McCammon is way up there. Boy's Life might be my all-time favorite book. More recently, Stephen Graham Jones, his Indian Lake trilogy, awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Tremblay. Just any kind of good fiction writers I'm trying to absorb.
And right now, as as a horror fan, not just a horror film fan, I'm a horror story, horror book fan, horror author fan. Mm-hmm. I am so excited right now because this is a great time when it comes to especially indie horror writers. There was a time that you would go to the bookstore before Amazon. You go to the bookstore and you would see Dean Koontz, Stephen King, Anne Rice. That's all you really had to work from. But now with a lot more indie creators, if you're a horror reader, you have so many tales to pick from, to choose from.
Yeah, so many. I can't even keep up. Just finished this last weekend, Incidents Around the House by Josh Malerman. He did Bird Box, and that was awesome. It was like a top 5 of the year for me. But yeah, I can't even keep up with my to be read pile. There's so many good ones out there.
Yeah, I can't even I still buy. I like physical copies. So I love physical copies, but
100%.
I'm running out of room for physical copies. So I'm a lot of these books. I'm using my Kindle a lot more now because I just don't have the space anymore.
Yeah, same. I have shelves of books, but I'm using my phone to read more, just because I get the 99-cent deal on this author I wanted to check out. That's how I read the Incidents Around the House, and I don't have the space. Yeah, I have to kind of pick and choose. I try to do if I get a new book, I get rid of a book, but that's really hard. It's really hard.
It is.
Yeah.
Especially someone like me. I like especially if it's an indie author, I like to get the book autographed by the indie author, and I just don't want to get rid of it. Just hold on, Could be next Stephen King. Could be the next Stephen King autograph where I just got. So I try to hold on to it. Yeah. All right. Now, do you think that ebooks, when it comes to ebooks, Kindle, all that stuff, do you think that is going to become the norm? We're seeing, DVDs are pretty much gone and everybody's streaming or they're downloading digitally. Do you think that in the next 10, 15 years, the bookstores and the physical copies are going to be a thing that only collectors are going to purchase?
I don't think so. When I started doing this, 2014, 2015, I finally just decided, you know what? I'm going to write one single short story and get it published. That was my goal, just the one, to see if I can do it. And I wanted to do it, in my mind at the time, I wanted to do it before books went away. I remember thinking that. And here it is, 10 years later, and books are all over the place. I don't know about collectors, of course. People prefer ebooks, they'll do the ebooks. I don't think books are going anywhere. Bookstores, You never know. Amazon, what the future holds. I am all about, my kids are tired of me talking about how it's all about the physical media. It's all about the physical media. I have DVDs, I have some VHSs, and I have a ton of books. But I don't think books are going anywhere anytime soon.
I hope not. I mean, but I'm starting to see more and more authors only releasing ebooks, and I'm like, boy, but I guess the cost factor that can help an author as well.
I would think so. Maybe it's just easier to put out the ebooks.
Yeah. Because I was feeling guilty for Kelly, I was feeling guilty for a while because I had the Amazon Kindle thing where I get X amount of books for a membership price, and I thought that was some kind of way interfering with authors' pay, like, you know what I mean, if I read a book. But I found out that no, they get paid by how many pages you read. Yeah. So,
yeah. I'm still new at all this, but yeah, Kindle Unlimited, I think is what you're talking about.
Yeah, Kindle Unlimited.
I've never been a member of that, but it looks like a good deal. But my understanding is, the author gets paid by the page in that situation. Yeah.
Yeah, because I thought for sure, I was like, well, how the hell am I paying $9.99 a month? How are these authors getting, you know what I mean? They're just due. But no, I heard some authors get more from that than they do actual physical copy sales. So it actually works out.
Yeah. Hopefully, because I know mine's going to be on Kindle Unlimited eventually. Not sure when.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I'm going to get it. I'm going to get a physical copy from you.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Give me an address. I'll hook you up.
I appreciate it, bro. Yeah. Now, Ken. All right. As you know, this is a horror channel, so I'm going to ask you 3 random horror questions.
Oh, no.
Okay. This is just your personal opinion.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Of all time, what horror book book to a movie adaptation do you think is the best? Or your favorite?
Oh, wow. Horror book to movie adaptation. But the first thing that came to my mind, and I'll probably kick myself later for forgetting something more obvious, Dr. Sleep. Dr. Sleep really, I liked the book. I loved the movie. I could probably think of something else if you gave me another half hour, but that's the first thing I thought. Yeah.
I love Pet Sematary. I'm talking about the original Pet Sematary. I love the book, and then I watched the movie. Well, I mean, I watched the movie first, and then I read the book when I got a little bit older, and I was like, wow, these two, they complement each other so well.
Yeah, I love Pet Sematary, the book. I liked the movie. It was all right. The scene with the semi,
yeah.
But yeah.
All right. And the second question is, what is a Stephen King book that has not been adapted into a movie that you wouldn't mind seeing?
See, my first thought, Revival. If they could do it right, though. I'm not sure that would translate to a movie very well, but that's,
No.
I think, an underrated one of his. Came out, 2013? Very creepy and disturbing. If they could pull that off, that'd be a good one.
I agree. Now, would you go see that in the theaters, or would you wait for that to come on streaming?
If they did Revival, I would go see it in the theater.
Theaters.
I went to see The Dark Tower, opening night at 19:19 p.m. Back in 2017 when it came out. That was disappointing. But
So
Revival, I'd be right there, yeah.
That's it. All right. Last question. What was the first horror movie that you saw that really scared the shit out of you?
First horror movie that scared the shit out of me. My earliest recollection of a horror movie, the one thing I love about the internet is because I can trace this back, because I was 5 years old, and Dark Night of the Scarecrow was a made-for-TV movie. Still holds up. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out.
I've not seen it. I'm checking it out.
And there's a scene in the grain silo where a guy is the grain keeps coming up. He ends up, spoiler, drowning in the grain. And 5 years old, probably shouldn't have been watching it, but kind of the theme of my horror movie experience. Way too young to be watching that stuff. But Dark Night of the Scarecrow, I think it was October 81.
By the way, they used to make some good made-for-TV horror films back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
I remember seeing one. I can't even tell you the name of this movie, but it was probably like one of the first like Paranormal Activity movies where apparently it was based on a true story where like the family moves into the house and there's a spirit in the house and it just follow and they try to move and the spirit just follows them. That movie disturbed me as a kid. But like they used to make some great made for TV horror films back in the day.
Yeah. As an adult trying to remember what movie that was, because like I said, I was 5. I don't remember Dark Night of the Scarecrow or anything, but I just started Googling silo death horror movie, and there was a couple. I was like, Dark Night of the Scarecrow, that was it. Found it streaming on Peacock or something and watch it again, and that's 100% same movie.
Love it. See, now I'm going to Google that paranormal movie I was talking about because I want to see that again to see if it holds up and if I still got that eerie feel at age 41. All right, Kelly, where can everyone find you, my friend?
Well, I am on Twitter at The Real Rick Snip. I'm on Facebook, KN Gould. Actually doing a giveaway right now up until August 1st for not 4 Out of Whack, but for one of my older anthologies. If you check out my Facebook page, see that giveaway, give it a look, enter for a free book.
Awesome. And also, everyone, go down to the description. The link to pre-order Out of Whack is down in the description box. So go ahead and for your e-copy, go ahead and do that and look up August 1st for the physical copy. KN, Kelly, it's been a pleasure having you on, my friend.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. All right, everyone. Well, thank you for coming to the Horror Realm. I'm Travis Bruce, and that's KN Gould. We'll see you next time. Take care.